And it just feels like a an opening into a different kind of wholeness, you know?
I think about the energy that it takes to suppress or control parts of our nature and the energy that it takes just to let things move. And it is always less energy just to let it move. And so I am a person who, miss grumble, off the cuff irritation, and it just moves. And it doesn't become a state that I have to live in.
1,000%. Welcome to the Mystical Aunties podcast, everybody. I'm Elizabeth D'Alto.
And I'm Elisha Tichelle.
The tagline for this show is, "For the love of all things sacred." So how are we showing that love? In a world where there aren't just an abundance of healers and spiritual practitioners, but also spiritual influencers, we wanted to team up to offer seasoned and mature insight, wisdom, and exploration on a range of topics, from healing, human behavior, somatics, and plant medicine, to communication, relationships, sexuality, spirituality, and more. With decades of experience in our respective fields, and with some trusted friends we consider the Council of Mystical Aunties, you're invited to evolve with us, go deep with us, and laugh hysterically with us, because true mystics know if you can't find the humor in all this, you're missing the best part. Let's get into the show. What's up, everybody? The Mystical Aunties are back from winter break. I always think about that person that commented on one of our Instagram posts that was like, Elizabeth reminds me of a 90s DJ. She needs a soundboard. Because sometimes, since that comment, I sometimes want to be like, bing, 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 like the
I think I like it. I think you should incorporate it.
I actually, so Weez and I record Heat and Honey in Riverside. We are now using Riverside. They do have like sound effects somewhere. I don't know where they are, how to use them, but we'll get me a soundboard, everybody.
Yeah, we'll find that.
We'll figure it out. So we're back.
Sure.
The world has been worlding. I wore my wearable Care Bear blanket for everyone for a little joy. And there's ears, just in case you
of course there are.
Missed the ears.
You're so sweet.
I won't leave my little ears up the whole time, but
but if needed, they're there.
If needed. If we need to spontaneously blast anybody with Care Bear stares. We're ready. Girl, I notice with all my friends who are all sensitive people, even the question, how are you, is so loaded.
It's so loaded. It's so loaded.
I was still going to ask you, though. How you doing over there?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the full answer. The full answer is yeah. The subtext of that is I'm doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
I am falling apart. I haven't slept in weeks. I have more energy than ever. Creativity's going really well. Grief is like cooking. Rage is raging. I feel like in the full spectrum of all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I feel really simultaneously immensely grateful to be alive and completely devastated by the world.
Well,
Yeah.
That's the episode, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Totally.
I mean, what else is there to feel, you know?
Yeah.
It's interesting. The paradox of simultaneously being so grateful for my own life.
Yeah.
And so many of like the tough choices I've made over the years that even now, at least like I have my safe little place where I live. I don't have anyone's undiagnosed son bothering me. No kids draining my life force. It's not a knock on anybody else's. I'm just saying, for me, at least I get to be in my own space, which feels miraculous. And then just like, I've become a much better, in like a healthy way, compartmentalizer.
Yeah.
I can be like, all right, here's the spectrum of everything I feel. What
what needs the most attention right now, what just like not right now, can't do it, because I have to function.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even functioning has become interesting. So I got a question for you. And I feel like I'm going to ask you to remind me, only because I don't remember your specifics. Did you ever get deep at all into like law of attraction, manifestation teachings, stuff like that?
I don't know how deep I got, but yeah, I mean, definitely. I've definitely continued to like dabble in and I find the manifestation teachings to be super interesting, and in a way, like, I like to listen to what people are saying because it gives me fodder to respond to in other ways.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say, like, I would say, yeah, when The Secret came out, and like, what was that, like 2008, 2007, something like in that, yeah, there was like interesting. But I wasn't sort of like a hardcore law of attraction girl. I would say when I sort of found the fullness of the Hermetic laws, like that for me was like way more like hit spark kind of thing. But yeah, so the answer is yes, but maybe not deeply.
And so I still find myself, it's interesting how just different layers of conditioning pop up at different times, because I still find myself, like, say I'm having a conversation with someone and we're talking about reality. I have this like program in my mind that's like, oh, be careful what you're weaving with your words. Like, words are spells. And it's like, yes. And this is what's really going on, though. Like,
Absolutely.
So something towards the end of last year that was really just landing for me is how the highest vibrational language is just whatever is actually the truth.
Yeah.
And I think that it's just too bad there's so many things in this life that we can never extrapolate like full causation.
Right.
Because, like, of course, I have felt like, oh, I manifested that. Or I've seen people like, oh, they're a great manifestor. Like, whatever. But I'm like, but there's like 30 gazillion other reasons why that may have happened, you know, like.
And it mostly is because you ate broccoli 16 years ago at the right moon time or something, right? Like, really. Yeah. I think what drives me the most crazy, and I think has been both in my own life and I've seen in others where we've hooked into some of this manifestation malarkey, is in assumptions about where we actually have control, or that we're the force of creation. And I think that the more that we awaken to our actual power and to living in right relationship with sovereignty and interconnectedness, there's an aspect of really understanding that we are not the force of creation.
Yeah.
We are the vessel through which that force can move, and we can have clearness in our sight and in our ability to be with that energy. And I think what you're saying in terms of like the most, I can't remember exactly how you said it, but like the most powerful spell, right, of saying what is true. And I think that when someone, because there are people who, this is a very ADHD way of me speaking this entire conversation. Anyway, okay, so there are people, just naming them. I'm experiencing myself having 5 conversations at once.
And I'm just like, great.
Yeah, totally.
I'm following you.
Okay, so the next point is, going back to what you said. I also feel like we haven't had enough time together in the past few weeks, so we're just like gonna be all over this. I know. So, okay, when someone's like, I am amazing and I am a millionaire and I am so happy and the love of my life is here, right? And they're saying all the fucking right things, supposedly, that they're supposed to be saying, but there is but the ground that is moving from is bullshit. It's unworthiness. It's, I don't actually trust life. Like, that is not spell. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is not creating the spell, right?
That is not spellcasting.
Exactly. I mean, it is, but it isn't, right? You get what I'm saying? Like, and when you are naming what's happening, and it's coming from a ground of like surrender and devotion, and I'm in this, like, whatever, come hell or fucking high water, like, I'm in this with you, life. Like, we're in this together. And, I'm devoted to the sacred, and I'm devoted to the moment, and I'm available for the miracle. And also, like, I'm falling apart. Right.
Yeah.
When you're naming what's true, it actually is a strengthening of your system. Right. And then you can have those moments where you particularly organize yourself towards spellcasting, right? Towards the enchanting of life, where you're like, oh, now is the moment to organize my power and my presence towards that thing. And again, I just think when we're sort of like assuming ourselves to be the most causal nature versus like actually we're the responding vessel majority of the time.
Yeah.
Right. We're the signal receiver more than we're the signal amplifier, and definitely ever the signal controller. And I think that can feel disempowering to people. It doesn't feel disempowering to me. It's like being in the right relationship. It's like putting myself in the right place. Right. And when you get in the right place and you're like, oh my God, it's so freeing. And I actually, don't have to put so much pressure on myself. Like, yes, I need to clean up my language. And also me speaking what is true is not me being low vibration.
Totally. And then even, what's so interesting? One of the first things in like Self-Help 101 that everyone gets assigned is like, stop complaining. Okay.
Right.
So I haven't been a complaining person for years, right?
Yeah.
Analysis, like observation, right? And like all things, when your observations are things that are brutal, sometimes people might take it as like a complaint or it's negative. It's like, no, I'm just observing what's happening in the world around me and it blows. But listen, I've just been letting myself complain a little bit lately, and it's just like, it feels so indulgent, but it's also like, I should feel better after. I don't know. There's just things lately that, and I think I told you this the last time we caught up. I feel like my apprenticeship, my deep apprenticeship with like energy work and embodiment work, I feel like that is one of the things that came to a close in 2025. And so when I say my apprenticeship, I mean, that's no longer where I'm going to be like focusing my study.
Right.
I'm not abandoning either in any way, but I'm more excited now to begin a new apprenticeship with relational cosmologies, with myth.
Yeah.
And just weaving different understandings of nature and reality and ways of being and communing with all that is sacred.
Yeah.
I just, because my appetite has changed,
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just feels like an opening into a different kind of wholeness,
I think about the energy that it takes to suppress or control parts of our nature, and the energy that it takes just to let things move. And it is always less energy just to let it move. And so I am a person who, misgrumble, off the cuff irritation, and it just moves. Yeah. And it doesn't become a state that I have to live in.
1,000%.
Because I'm just like, it doesn't, like, I just need a moment to be like, fuck this, fuck that, right? And then also at the same time, in the very next moment, I can be like, oh my God, that's beautiful, right? Because it's about being responsive to life, and it's about being with what I'm actually moving with. The idea that I am more spiritual if I, and I think that, here I go again. Okay, so the idea, let me finish one thought. The idea of being more spiritual because we're in some sort of, even in our self-relationship, pretense that certain experiences are not allowed or certain ways of relating to an experience makes us better or worse is just, it's one of the things that's really fucking us. And it's really fucking our resiliency in trying times.
Just 1,000%. So I, some of the things I've been reading lately are just filled to the brim with reminders at like an elder with lineage, with years in the field, and who actually has moved through rites and initiations into being an elder. The way they just are unhooked from so much narrative, dogma, explanation, like needing to understand, like, it comes back around. It's interesting because you know how people will talk about the vulnerabilities at the beginning of life and at the end of life. It's almost like the wisdom or like the non-attachment at the beginning of life and at the end of life, right? And at the beginning of the life, it's because you don't know what you don't know. Right. And then at the end, it's because you know too much. Like,
yeah, exactly.
and you just come back around to the place that's like, listen,
it doesn't matter.
We overexert.
That's not the point.
Too much. Too much.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's, it reminds me, we were talking about, apprenticing to myth and to story and animism and all of those things. And when we're talking about this, it also reminds me of how in so many of the lores, the goddess, the fool, these really important characters that you meet on the journey will show up in these less than attractive, less than polite, less than couth ways, and that's really important along the journey.
Totally.
That you meet the most unattractive female character, and this, like, she's like asking for a kiss, right? Or like the trickster shows up and just like this, complete the vagabond, and all of these ways that actually meeting the unkempt, impolite, whatever, the not polite parts of us, right? Like the parts of our dark, wild nature that we're really afraid of. It's super, super important and healing and necessary that we're in relationship, and that we're not hiding those parts. And I think that when you can get fluid with those pieces, then we have to be less worried about how we're going to react in these situations where the stressors of survival are rampant and beyond our control. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I love Trickster.
You are absolutely right. Like, that's a super.
Well, and it's so that's, Mercury, which is Hermes, is my chart ruler.
Right.
That threshold transition being, and the fox, I will say, coming up on 2 years ago now, fox medicine came to me at a specific time. And I've been like, it's courting it. I haven't like, it hasn't been time yet to like dive all the way in and go all the way deep with that. Right. But it has been a little more lately. And it's interesting because it's like that very specific application of cunning.
Right.
And finding ways to maneuver out of harm's way while being very aware of what the harm is.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Yeah. Do you think that part of like that courting, because something we've talked about before is like like recognizing our shapeshifter capacity is, and the adaptability that we developed, and that the more that you've toned that up towards aligned choice and like really moving from the who and how you're choosing to be versus that expectation from other people, that shapeshifter in us becomes more of the cunning that is like the fun part, the part that you get to use towards like actually aligning towards life and towards joy and pleasure and, all of those types of things, rather than like shifting and adapting for like survival, right? Like to get to like to stay out of people's snares, or like to disentangle yourself from the enmeshments, or all of those kinds of things.
Yeah, and I'm also just relating to even the word survival. This came up in our collective session this past weekend of, so many things that we speak about are painted over and filtered through the lens of like westernized, colonized psychological frameworks. So even survival, like thinking about like the bottom of the Maslow's hierarchy, right? Or like survival mode, whereas to survive is to live, right? It's the spectrum of living, right?
Yeah.
And even that, just peeling away at like the narratives, the dramatization, the storification of things, like whatever story goes on to it, and then that just becomes what this thing means. I'm like, yeah, I don't unsubscribe. I'm just unsubscribing from a lot of things right now and seeing how they want to reform in my world, in my consciousness, in my awareness, in my like scope of choices I do and do not have, you know? It just, it feels like, you know, how we gonna move in these times in this way? And to your point of what you said, how am I being a little more precious and protective of myself? Not from a place of fear, but like, I got back on Threads last week, and it's been interesting to see like what's popping up in the threads. And there's this conversation about women saying like, I'm just a girl, right? Or I'm just a little baby. And I'm very much like, you know what? As the person who's always had to like have it together, figure it out, hypervigilant, on guard, like seeing things 40 steps ahead, I'm like, what would it be like for me to be like, I'm just a little baby?
Yeah. It's kind of the same thing you're saying about the beginning and end of life. Like there's a reclamation of the innocent as the wisest way we can move here.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I don't fucking know. I'm just a baby.
I'm just a baby. I'm just a girl.
And I kind of love the dichotomy of like our spiritual maturity also includes the reclamation of the innocent who's just like, oh no, I'm a baby.
I'm just a little baby.
It's just a baby.
I mean, I could do fierce warrior goddess queen if I need to, but she needs a break.
Well, not just she needs a break. I mean, she totally needs a break, but I also think it's about recognizing where we are in the spiral. It's not her time.
It's not.
It's not her time. And that may not be true for everyone, because one of the things I've really been noticing is where are we on the wave? Like who's ahead of the wave, who rides the wave, and who's behind the wave, right?
Yes.
And you and I are ahead of wave. We're like, I did that part so that it gets trickled onto the wave, right? And I am very much in that place too of like, okay, there are ways that my fierceness needs to be here, but this is also actually a season of softness for me, and a season of intense surrender and supplication, right? And so it's like, oh, okay, that's right. Depending on where you are in the wave determines what's articulating and what's unarticulating, right? And so there's something about this kind of the maturity, like the reclamation of maturity as the innocent. Right? The leaders who are the leaders and livers, because I know you don't particularly love the word leaders, but the livers, those of us living here at the edge who are like, I go assuredly into the uncertainty, fully armed with my innocence.
Girl, hang up. Stop recording right now.
But it doesn't that feel like exactly where your heart is just like, I got you, baby girl.
Yeah.
You're just a baby. That's
just
right.
baby.
Right? Like, it's just like, and I feel like that's so much of just like that assurance, right? That it's like, it's all, it's, you know, and I think for those of us too, who have both from the intuitive site, the leadership places, the creationary places, the hypervigilance places, who've always been so forward thinking and needed to be at that edge of that wave in a certain place as well, to ensure that things happened, to now surrender that with like, okay, actually there is no timeline prediction here. There is no future planning that needs to happen, because what has to happen is the surrender to this moment right here.
Yeah.
And to finding the goodness, the softness, the humanity, the heart right here before we pick anything else up. Hello.
It cut out for a second because I was getting a call. What was the last thing you said?
Just like the assurance of being like right here in this moment of like before we pick anything else up, how do we live and love here? How do we find each other here? How do we create the web right here so that we can weave it, you know, going forward? But I think That's never been possible before. So our fierceness to cut through, our hypervigilance to keep tracking things, like all of those things were necessary to get to this point. Right? And now we're here, now we're at these choice points, and what we have to do at choice point is slow down.
Yeah.
Let go, not know anything. Like literally be in the dark, right? Coming to the part of the dark where like, actually I just surrender to the dark.
Yeah. Yeah. And even just presence, right? Like,
Yeah.
Here's what I know right in this moment. Here's what I know today. Here's 37 bajillion million thousand things I don't know.
Yeah.
What am I going to move with? What feels? It's just like refinement, attunement. These words that I've been loving for years it's all discernment. It's all, I feel like, taken on new meaning.
A new depth for sure.
A new depth. And in part because I have personally met some edges where I've bumped into things that say in various aspects of life, in order to keep going on this track, on this path, you have to do X, Y, Z. And I'm like, ooh, soul says no.
Right.
So I can't keep going on that path. And so what
Yeah.
am I going to do instead?
Yeah.
It's real, like, identity shifting and even for me, something that's come up, which anyone who follows me on social media has noticed. I'm playing on social media now. You know that if you go to my Instagram, you're gonna see Mystical Aunties clips. You're gonna see Heat and Honey clips. I'm running my mouth in my favorite two lanes, like off the deep end of the spiritual dock that you and I go into, and then just like the extreme silliness, shit talking, run my mouth about everything on Heat and Honey. Those are like the edges of me.
No, love it.
And then just everything in between. Like I just the content creation, the this and that, like strategies for fucking. There's so many things that I've been like staying in the dance with over the years. That last year I was like, yeah, I will not be, I need a new dance floor.
Yeah.
I need a new dance floor. And that in part, that's like intentional trickster stuff, right? Like, listen, I'm going to make you laugh. Your heart's in pain. We're going to get that levity. We're going to do some healing work, but not because I taught you anything or did a single healing thing.
Yeah.
Other than be foolish.
Yeah.
And give us space to be foolish together, you know? Because it's too much. It's all
it
too
is
fucking
too much. It's too much.
Too fucking
It's
much.
totally too much.
I think when we recorded our last episode with Michelle, you had moved, right? Or is this our first one in your new space?
I was in Pennsylvania in December, yeah.
You were. Yeah. Okay, now that you've been there for like a little over a month, then what is life away from the ocean like for you?
Well, it's sad to be away from the ocean. I miss her immensely. I miss seeing her every day and smelling and feeling that. And I've been hugely surprised by how grounding Pennsylvania is. It's so beautiful to return to places of origin and meet your old stories and then get to laugh at them, right? It's just like so good to be just sort of like, oh, all these things. Just talking about returning to the innocence of just like, oh, this is beautiful land. It's just a beautiful place. And it holds me so well. And so a lot of the other stories that I've had about lack of belonging or, feeling trapped or whatever have just like not been active.
Nice.
And it's been really, really cool to be, sort of to experience myself in terms of like what's available in different environments, in terms of like how my system automatically organizes. And then where do I make choices in that attunement to bring in what is necessary or what has been helpful from other spaces when I'm not there. It's been really fun to play with, sort of consciously attuning my container to still hold codes from the ocean and from that expansive. I mean, it's not even land. I'm living on little strips of sand, crystal quartz land that's like, it's just hilarious. And so it was so good for my system in certain ways. Florida was so good for my system. And then also it's like to be on the ground, here in Pennsylvania is like, that's actually really good for me too. So it's just fun to kind of to be with. And I think the biggest thing that I am just so proud of is actually like really surrendering what's next and where am I going, and just letting myself be held in this cocoon. Pennsylvania happens to be where a cocoon that can hold me is, where I don't have to be in sort of any decision, future planning, what comes next, where am I going, how am I going to figure this out sort of state right now. And is really soaking that in. And it does feel like it's very healing for a child part of me that maybe never felt as that actual aged child that she had that level of support to like not have to know what was next.
Yeah.
And so as I tend the dreaming and the weaving and the sort of opening to the potential for humanity, not having to sort of figure that out on the localized level is like, thank fucking goodness that like somebody's making this soup and I can just be like, okay, great. I can do some of the other work. And it feels very much what my mystic has needed to be able to fully just sort of surrender to her job right now. So it's good. I love the Northeast. Like I love this, you know, I love this land on another kind of way. So it's really, it feels like a homecoming, and I feel the land that's sort of calling, and I'm sort of like trying to be open to that dance without going into the planning of like, how are you going to get there? And what are you going to do? And where are you going to, you know, are you going to buy a place? You're going to rent a place? You're going to, so I'm trying not to bring it into survival and just be like, the current will move me. The current will move me when it's time to move me. And my job right now is to stay surrendered and open and available. And, you know, and doing my job fully as a visionary, as a trailblazer, and trusting that I don't have to figure out survival. It just happens. It just is going to happen. And it will happen on its own time frame. And I think that's a big thing for me as well, is to surrender the timelines.
Totally.
I think so many of us carry that story in so many ways of like, we're late, we're behind, we need to figure it out. And I have worked that story from every fucking facet possible. And now I just feel like I'm just like taking the little pulverizer and just being like, that does not, I can't carry it forward. Like, I don't care if I'm fucking behind. I don't care if it's taken me 12 years to write this book. I don't fucking care anymore. Like, it just is what it is. And I'm just doing life. I'm just doing life as fully and as openly and as available to what's moving as I can, and it's all fine. And maybe I'll be writing this damn book till my last day, and maybe it'll never get published, and that's also fucking fine.
Also
like
fine.
The point is to show up for it, not, you know, sort of like to get to someplace. So yeah. How about you?
Which thing?
Well, we've had a brutal winter in the north. And it was your first winter back in Brooklyn, so.
I mean, yes and, right? Because I was here last year. I did my sublet last year in February when I came to find my place, and then I moved in April. But so I got a little bit of winter, not this kind of snow. I wasn't prepared for parking my car on the street in the snow. I in my whole New York life, I've not had my own car in one of the boroughs during a winter storm before. Right. So, I mean, I'm glad I saw some random Facebook group person reminding people, like, if you can park on the left because the plows to the right. So, like, thank God at least I'm on the left, but still, it's everything freezing over. I can't move my car. I'm not gonna be able, I'm not gonna be able to move my car indefinitely. Like
till April.
Honestly, I was looking today, probably till like the middle of February. It's like probably a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Because like, how might I get my car out of the block of ice that I'm not like, but which is like, who would have thought I fucking love taking cold ass walks at night?
Right? Yeah.
Why do I love it? So, and here's what's funny. I got like a very warm coat. So it's like cold, but I'm also sweating under the coat. But the cold air, it's so alive and it's so crisp.
Yeah.
And I find it so invigorating.
Yeah.
I don't know, girl. Everything is so brutal, but I'm also so in awe of the things that support.
Yeah.
Right? Or the things that I may have taken for granted before that now are just, God, that's what a blessing. Like, I'm sure some people would hear this and think, oh, not a big deal. But my landlord emailed last week way ahead of time. My lease doesn't renew till April, But they were like, hey, check it in to see if you're going to renew the lease, put it up. The rent isn't changing at all. Usually there's like a little hike every year. No hike.
Yeah.
Already signed.
Yeah.
So 3 months at a time to not have that, like, are they changing anything of it? Even that.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
set. I'm here for another year. I don't want to, like, ugh.
Yeah.
Thank you. The ground beneath me, that what my little home, my little roots.
Yeah.
That brings me so much joy. It's just
so good. So good.
I don't know. I just very, very simple things to me these days are just making me feel like what a fucking blessing.
Yeah.
To see just rights and life and innocence stripped away. Not that it hasn't been happening, you know? I feel like we've just been systematically more and more and more and more and more and more exposed for the last several years. I just have been tenderized in a way I don't even know how to describe, you know?
Right? Totally. Yeah, I think that tenderizing, though, is really prepared us to be in this place where if we can slow down into the presence and the receiving, it's like wiping, it's like when the camera has like a little film on it and we're just like slowing into that place where you're just like, oh, wait, I can see better, right? It's like, of course it's seeing and it's feeling and it's being, it's all of those types of things. And it's really beautiful. And I think for me, I've had the last 2 years, there were so many moments where I just felt such despair about humanity, about like my fellow humans, you know, and just like, I don't understand. And there's still an aspect of I don't understand, but as the horrors have amplified, I am honestly so proud of humans right now and seeing people showing up for each other. It's been different at stores. It's been different. Like people are looking each other in the eye again and not everyone, right? I cherish those people that are like arriving into this place where they're like, actually, this is our life and this is our world and this is ours to do. And I see you and you see me and having those connections, but big and small, and people showing up in the ways, I'm like, okay, we're gonna be okay.
Yeah,
we're gonna be okay.
And here's something I think about over the course of history. When has it ever gone well for a tyrant? They terrorize people for a period of time. It never ends well for them. It's very unfortunate how many people have to suffer in the process of them finding out this doesn't end well for you.
I know tyrants can't understand history, but they could at least watch Hollywood.
Hello. Like, this is not...
It does not go well. It's not go well.
Go well for you.
It's not going to go well. And I think that is the place that we can continue to remember that how we move right now really does matter. And I mean that in the actions, but also in the feeling states that, you know, not denying what we're moving through, not denying the heaviness, not denying the horrors, not denying any of it actually matters. And then also letting it continue to tenderize us, letting it continue to bring more humanity, like what we've seen and what we were complaining about and what many of us have had frustration and rage around is like not seeing humans humaning, not seeing humanity acting, right? And I think more and more we're getting the glimpses to the point that it's not going to just be glimpses. And so how we human and how we show up in connection to each other is so important right now. And I've been really inspired by watching creativity and connection and laughter and service and just us and people being together in the confusion and not, you know, I think that there's just been a lot, I think, of heart meeting these places of horror. And I think that, I think humans, I think we're going to continue to do better. And I am really proud of us for that.
So we have a new publishing schedule, y'all. You're hearing this on a Wednesday. and we will be every other Wednesday from here on out.
Yeah.
And there was a reason I was saying that. Oh, because if this is out, it's February 9th. So Elisha, is that before? When is your free class? I saw you had something going on. Will that have passed already?
It will, but you could still get it. Yeah, I'm going to do an in-bulk oracle circle for listening and feeling. Yeah, just being with what is here for us. And I think one of the things I feel is really important is spaces where you're not told how you're supposed to show up, and what it looks like to be a good whatever. And so this is a space for you to come and feel what the season is bringing for you and not be told what the season means for you.
Amen. So as always, anything Elisha is up to is going to be at the link in her bio on her Instagram. I'm out here plugging along, absolutely obsessed with my one-on-one work. By the time this episode goes live, I don't know that my website will be entirely updated yet. I did a whole manifesting generator last week. I was like, I'm gonna update my entire website. But it feels exciting, and it's funny what you were just saying about people don't have to show up any certain way. My collective session, the last one that I did, in the beginning of the call, I was like, all right, everyone, before we even pray, let us share a collective scream. I put on my favorite song for raging to, which is called Uprising by Muse. I was like, everybody unmute. Ah! And we were all like, oh, I needed
necessary.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
necessary.
Real.
So good.
So real. But all right, y'all. Well, we're here. We're back. The horrors persist, but so do we. We love you. We appreciate you. We're also going to be doing more. I don't know what it's going to look like yet, but I think we're going to be doing a little more on the Mystical Aunties YouTube channel. So make sure you're subscribed over there. And this is it. We got some good stuff coming.
Yeah. We'd love to hear from you too. What do you want us to talk about?
Yeah. I could always DM us on Instagram. That's the spot. That's it.
That's it.